So I ask all my guests two main questions kind of before we finish. So I don't know if you've been prepped for these, but I think it's almost really interesting, and I give it my own different section on YouTube, just like kind of clip it up. But if you were to look back over your career or your life, etc., would you be happy to share what is the best piece of advice you've ever had?
My best piece of advice was from a gentleman called Alistair, and I've had 4 Alistair directors in my life. But Alistair once said to me, because I said to him once, "You've got an amazing team here at the refinery," and he said, "The best advice I can give you is surround yourself with the people that fill your weakness of gap. So you know what you're good at, and surround yourself in a team of the people that can strengthen your weaknesses." And that was the best advice I ever got. You can't be brilliant at everything.
No, it's interesting. And the thing that I also love, which just came to mind, is the fact that this is like my 17th interview, and every single one of them's been different. You know, it's
okay. Well, I'm privileged to be here, so thank you.
No, it's cool. But again, it's I find this really useful because you often only need, for me, it's almost someone, you might say one thing and it just sparks in someone's mind and it just changes their whole kind of mindset. Because there's a guy called Matt McGough who runs Ithaca Films in Middlesbrough, and he made a really good one, which really kind of sunk in with me actually. And it's when I let it marinate, and then I'll probably tweet about it the next day. And it was all to do with how, you know, if business is like a marathon, realistically, it goes on for years, like 30, 40 years. Why are you trying to achieve everything in year one? Why are you sprinting?
Yeah.
Because again, like in a running analogy, if you set off full speed and you work till 1 a.m. and you're constantly killing yourself, you're going to burn out at something. And almost one of the best pieces of advice that I have ever kind of brought in, and it was back in 2009 when I started my first business. I used to work again till like midnight, 1 a.m. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, would force me to come to bed.
Yeah.
And actually now we religiously go to bed pre-9 o'clock. And it just means that I can sustain hard work every day, 7 days a week, or however I choose to balance it. But I can do that for 26 years. And actually, but it was the one thing that Matt said that made me think, it's interesting, because again, there's different parts of my business that are scalable, but I don't need to rush them. Does that make sense?
It was a bit like when I was a new mum. Somebody said to me, "Sleep when the baby sleeps." Mm-hmm. There's a degree of, in business, turn off when the business is closed. You know, it kind of resonates to me. You can work every day, every night, every weekend, but your clients aren't expecting you to be there, and you will perform better if you can work when they need you rather than when you think you should be.
No,
so, and starting out a new business is always, I think, the biggest issue: pricing and learning to switch off.
Yeah. So my other question, which is similar but it is different, is that if you were to give advice to your younger self, and you can pick any age, any part of your career, whatever you want, what would it be?
Oh, crikey. That's a really hard question, if I'm honest. I think always know you can go for your goals. I think when I was younger, I lacked a lot of confidence. And there was another Alistair that gave me the opportunity to work in HR. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here now. I think the younger generation have a lot of pressure. So if I was to go back, I didn't do very well with my exams at school. I wasn't a great student, shall we say. And I think I panicked, and I think that's what gave me the drive and determination. And I think anything is possible. I've then since gone and done my degree. Alistair supported me through my degree, you know, said I'd be great in HR. I didn't even know what HR was. So I did a master's degree under his tuition, and he was the person that gave me the opportunity. So always look out for the people around you that will give you the best opportunities that you least expected.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good. I like that. And what I find funny is that it's how everyone's path is different. And it's always easy in hindsight to piece it together. But actually, you know, a lot of the pivots in my life haven't been by choice, but actually I wouldn't change them. Does that make sense? So it's almost when something negative that's happened, it's just make the best of it. But actually, in hindsight, it tends to work.
Yeah,
out.
you touched on that earlier, didn't you, where you said a lot of people are going to be facing redundancies, and rightly or wrongly, in redundancies, I've been known to say this isn't the end of your life, and I promise you, within 6 to 12 months, you'll come back to me and say it was the best thing that could have happened to me. And they, if looks could kill at that time, but I can honestly say a number of people throughout my career we've crossed paths again. And they've said, very much like you said, at the beginning, I wouldn't be self-employed had I have not been made redundant by the administrators. They've come back and said it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I'm now doing this, or whatever. And it's really hard to put that into context when you've just lost your job. You're thinking, how do I pay my mortgage? How do I tell my family? How do I not feel a failure? None of those are true. But generally we're survivors, and it will be all right. It's like anything. If you can look back in hindsight, why did I stress about that? It's nothing now. So yeah, I think you've touched on it throughout this, and it's true. Everything is an opportunity in life. So try and see the silver lining and use that to your advantage.